Scanning, synchronizing, stabilizing. Engaged.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. This is K.Rev, and we're on the couch today. I'm not sure how you entitle your Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday, Wild Wednesday, not sure. But I'm enjoying and excited to be alive on Wednesday because I can breathe. I'm happy, and God has given me an opportunity just to say good morning. Great morning, and I'm excited to be here and I have breath in my body. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm really enjoying life right now. You know, some of you guys know that within my business that I am a life insurance individual. And so when you're doing life insurance contracts or you're doing those applications, you have to ask individuals what's going on with them. You got to ask them, you know, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And it's a long laundry list of possibilities of what people could have. And you know what? I don't have any of those things. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have that, man. So I'm excited today. K's Couch is actually brought to you by Standard Mag, with the voice of the culture and the oxygen to the entrepreneur. We are separated in 4 different genres: business, lifestyle, music and entertainment, news, and also travel. So we're excited. You need your story told, and you want to be on the cover of a premium magazine, listen, reach out to us. We're also brought to you by KR3 & Co. Enterprises, where we help businesses grow and grow securely. So definitely excited about that. We're here to promote, protect, and push and position your business. So listen, reach out to us so see how we can actually help you. We're here also sponsored by LitChat. LitChat is a new social media platform, and we're also going live with LitChat today. LitChat, now your words have fire. We're definitely excited today to be alive. I'm definitely even more excited because we have an awesome guest today. You ever wondered how and why you do certain things you do, or how the brain works? Listen, we have an expert today that's going to break down the neuroscience behind certain things. So we got some questions for her. She is the great Dr. Hayley Nelson, man. She's awesome. Got a chance to meet her over a week and a half ago. Her story compelled me. Got a chance to read up on her, have a conversation with her, and she's definitely an expert in her field. She has a new show that just actually streamed that I got a chance to watch a bit, and we'll talk to her about that. And also she has an academy to teach you more about what's going on, ACBN, and she'll be able to talk to you about what that means once she comes on. So we're going to actually get a small introduction of who Dr. Hayley Nelson is. And once we do that, we'll go to our intro. And then once we're done with that, we'll be honored and have the privilege of speaking to the great Dr. Hayley Nelson. It's happening on the couch. We'll be right back.
Boom! Dr. Hayley Nelson. Welcome to the MBVS show. Dr. Hayley Nelson is a neuroscientist, tenured psychology professor, international speaker, and founder of the Academy of Cognitive and Behavioral Neuroscience, where she is passionate about making neuroscience approachable. She earned her PhD in psychological and brain sciences from the Johns Hopkins University and has over 20 years of teaching experience with students from diverse backgrounds. She also has several peer-reviewed research publications and previous research and faculty appointments with the National Institute of Health, the Johns Hopkins University, and the University of Pennsylvania. By creating certification programs with the Academy of Cognitive and Behavioral Neuroscience, Dr. Hayley combined her knowledge of human mind and brain health with her passion for education, teaching, and consulting to truly make neuroscience accessible and approachable. She loves working with life coaches, wellness professionals, therapists, and counselors who are ready to stand apart and show up as true leaders in their field. By earning their certificates and certifications in cognitive and behavioral neuroscience, her students learn easy-to-swallow knowledge of how the brain works in real-life situations and are armed with the education in a subject they can use literally every single day. Not only that, they gain the power to serve their clients better and gain the confidence to speak with authority about how and why what they teach their clients actually works. Dr. Hayley Nelson.
It's happening on the couch, K's couch.
Throughout life, one may feel he or she hasn't been heard, seen, or no one is listening. However, look up. Don't fret. There is a place for you.
Processing.
Greetings.
Access granted.
Welcome to the couch, K's couch.
It does not say whether you're bad or good, but it is a measurement.
Every single time you go to that bathroom and you got a stream of urine flowing out, you need to be saying, praise God.
Wow.
Because that's a sign that your kidney is getting better.
Like during that time when it was a fraction of a penny, and then you held it until today, you're a multi-millionaire.
Great. And as a result of this next conference, I am going to have a number of events following the conference.
Okay, I got you.
Nobody else. Willing to open the book.
To get this knowledge that you have, you gave up a lot of personal time with family.
It's less than $40 for bulk.
Wow.
And I have it in a variety of colors.
I take every moment as is. I've learned to be where my feet are.
Dr. Hayley, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Good morning, K.Rev. Thanks so much for having me today.
I'm so happy that you're here. Listen, it's not often we get a neuroscientist on the couch. This is pretty amazing for me. And I'm just happy that you were able to kind of break free from your, busy life and productive life of business to drop some knowledge on us today. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. And it's my pleasure. I love it. That's truly what my passion is. I'm trying to make neuroscience approachable to people. And there probably aren't that many neuroscientists on your couch because not many neuroscientists actually are approachable, but I am the oddball that you can come talk to me. And my passion is truly being able to break down some of those really heady intellectual concepts and constructs and be able to make it relatable to everybody so that you can really harness the power of the brain and improve your life and the lives of others.
I love that. I really, really love that. So tell us a little bit about yourself, far as why neuroscience and, how did you get into this? What was the purpose behind this?
Well, how much time do you have?
We got some time. We got some time.
So a little bit about me, I, with your introduction, I am a neuroscientist and psychology professor, but I'm also a mother of 2 young boys and a wife and homeowner. And I wear many, many hats. I'm a daughter and I'm a sister and all of those things.
Love it.
But specifically about how I got into neuroscience, when I started undergraduate studies, the college that I was in, I was bio pre-med, like I'm going to be a medical doctor. This is what I want to do. And so I was taking a lot of biology courses. And as I'm in there, I'm like, I don't really care that much about plant photosynthesis. And, it's important, but that's not really where my passion is. And as an elective, I took an intro to psychology course. And in my mind, I was like, oh, psychology, that's like Freud. And you're laying on a couch and, some old white dude with a beard is going to, analyze you. And oh my gosh, I remember the very first lecture, I was like, Like I literally felt my
Wow.
head explode. And I was like, this is what I want to study. I want to understand this organ, this brain.
Mm.
It's 3 pounds and it fits in between our ears and it controls everything. And I'm
Wow.
talking your heart rate, your breathing, but it also controls how you see, how you feel, both like physical touch, but also emotional, how we do everything, how we think, how we remember. It controls everything. So I knew that I wanted to study it more. And the
Mm.
college that I went to was very small, liberal arts, excellent
Mm.
school, excellent program, but it didn't have that much research opportunities for me. So after I
Mhm.
finished my undergraduate degree, I moved down to Washington, D.C., and I was waitressing and living the fun life. And one of the people who were at my table said,
Mhm.
"You're really smart. Why don't you go look and see if you can do some research at the National Institutes of Health, which is right here in Bethesda?" So I
Wow.
looked into it, and lo and behold, I ended up getting a research fellow position. And so I was working at the National Institutes of Mental Health in a clinical population. And then I wanted to be able to do preclinical work with animals and really actually dissect brains. So then
Mhm.
I went up to Baltimore and did research with the National Institutes on Drug Abuse, which I
Mm.
loved doing that. And that afforded me the opportunity to be able to study and pursue my PhD at the Johns Hopkins University. And then
Wow.
after that, then I started doing some industry work. I thought I wanted to do more of the consulting, but then I realized my true passion was with teaching. And when I was living in Philadelphia at the time, and there was a faculty position at the University of Pennsylvania that was
Mhm.
open, and I snagged that. I was so excited. I was like, here I am teaching at an Ivy League institution, little old me from upstate New York. And it was incredible. And now I'm happy to report I'm a tenured psychology professor at a community college
Wow.
just outside of
That's awesome.
Philadelphia, and founded the Academy of Cognitive and Behavioral Neuroscience to allow people to learn about the brain without having to re-enroll back in college, and to work with me more individually in a more private, intimate setting in your home on Zoom, things like that. So that's what I do.
Wow. That is you said that's it. No, that's pretty good. Like that is a huge resume, you know. Many people don't finish or pursue dreams or pursue things that they like or their passions and create something out of it. And so hats off to you for
Thank you.
doing that.
And,
Truly.
I was blessed to have a very supportive family, and I don't take that lightly. I mean, I was definitely privileged in that sense that I had that foundation and that support. So,
Mhm.
knowing that I could pursue my dreams and my passions, and, so I'm very blessed.
That is a true blessing. I can definitely appreciate your family for supporting you. I do want to share with you when I speak to a lot of my professionals when I am online with them, and it is a serious, sincere statement. I want to. It's a sincere thank you for making the choice that you made, because sacrifices came, everything that you just gave me, the list of things that you had to go through to get to where you are now required sacrifice. It required personal choice. It required discipline to do the studying. It required you to miss out on barbecues, movies.
Yes.
You couldn't have fun.
Oh, I'm sorry, my dog. Sorry. No.
uh that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, buddy. It's okay, buddy. But I want to thank you for that, for making those choices. And without you making those choices, you wouldn't have the audience that you have today, or the people and your clients and not really customers, but clients and people that you work with. They wouldn't have your voice. They wouldn't have your expertise. They wouldn't have your knowledge. And also ACBN wouldn't have been created. So we're going to talk about that here in just a second. But this is a sincere thank you for that, because your efforts and your contribution to the world and to the universe from your perspective means a lot. And if it wasn't here, there would be a huge void and a huge hole here. So we want to thank you for making those choices. Okay.
Thank you. It's not very
Absolutely.
often that people thank me for doing what I love to do. So I thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So ACBN. Talk to us a little bit about that. And again, break the acronym down for us, and share with us the reasons again why you created this academy for us. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So ACBN stands for the Academy of Cognitive and Behavioral Neuroscience.
Okay.
And that really is my area of expertise, right? Just understanding the brain and neuroscience in general, but really focusing on how we think and how we behave and how the nervous system can control that and how we can utilize that knowledge to, in turn, kind of control our nervous system as well.
Mhm.
And the Academy came about because I was on this app, a recently new app called Clubhouse. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I was on there and I was speaking in a couple rooms, and I found that a lot of life coaches and wellness professionals, therapists, counselors, even teachers, lawyers, people from all walks of life, but really primarily a lot of life and wellness coaches were coming up to me and saying, I love the way that you explain this. I want to learn more. And here are the topics that I'm most interested in studying and understanding, because I know my clients will be able to benefit more, to be able to understand the science behind the work that I'm doing with them. And so, I kind of just was having like one-on-one meetings with people. And I said, there's clearly a greater need for this because people keep asking me for it. And I'm not reaching everybody. So if so many people are asking me for it, why not just put it out there and make it evergreen so that anybody from all walks of life can get this information and study it on their own time. And it's been so much fun putting this entrepreneurial hat on. And, I've been in academia and been teaching for so long that the course creation came naturally for me. And then, of course, getting the feedback from prospective students saying, these are the topics that, will really help benefit me the most. And so just putting the content together was a lot of fun, but then came all the marketing and being able to, pitch it to people. And that was really exciting. It was something new and it was challenging and fun for me as well. And so it's been a really fun journey this past year, and it's officially launched. Again, it's catered towards life coaches and wellness professionals, but truly anybody can benefit from the information. And at the conclusion of it, you earn a certification in cognitive and behavioral neuroscience from ACBN, and you have a lot of one-on-one contact time with me as well to answer, ask and answer for me to answer specific questions that you might have. And earning that certification is going to allow people to truly stand out in their field. So they're not just, any life coach, they're life coaches with this advanced certification, truly making them stand apart and understanding what's going on in the brain with their clients and give them that buy-in to be able to speak with confidence and authority about, some of the challenges that their clients might be handling and dealing with.
This is awesome. Now, I want to make sure I didn't miss it. So how long is the program?
So it's self-paced, which is one of the beautiful things because I'm a busy working mom, working professional. So I get that a lot of my students also are doing other things with their life. So I wanted to make it flexible for people that if they're really gung-ho and want to get through all the content very quickly, they can. And other people might want to just have the information available to them and they can come to it whenever they want. So it's self-paced. It's up to you. I do have a live offering as well for individuals who really want more one-on-one time and get live lectures with me. That obviously is more streamlined, but it's 8 modules for the advanced certification. And I say on average, people are taking about a week per module. So about 2 months on average. But again, some people want to go really quick and other people want to take their time and really digest this information. So, and you'll have lifelong access to it as well. So,
okay. Oh, that sounds great. So it's like if a college course would be like maybe a semester and a half, to kind of go through the program. If you do self-paced, maybe a module a week, right?
yeah, something like that. And, a lot of people are saying, oh, I really want to take courses with you, but I don't want to have to do group projects with a bunch of 18-year-olds. I don't want to have to take exams and I don't want to have to, be a college student, enroll and go through financial aid and all of that.
Right.
And so what I did was I was able to take a lot of the concepts, but then tweak it so that it is specialized and, really focus in on the important information that people were specifically asking for. So instead of giving you everything, I really did hone it down to specifically cognitive and behavioral neuroscience that people were asking me for. So I talk about everything from, learning and motivation. I talk about the neuroscience of trauma, the neuroscience of addiction, sex, gender, and sexuality. Of course, I talk about psychological disorders as well as treatment and treatment options from a variety of different perspectives.
Yes.
And even bring in guest experts, because I am not a one-stop shop, right? I mean, I have to be able to outsource. I am not a clinician. So if I'm talking about different therapeutic approaches, I want to be able to hear from those experts. So I brought in some guests that, my students will also have access to.
Great. I mean, speaking of guests, now what we're going to do, I'm going to take a brief break.
Sure.
And but when we come back, you're going to talk a little bit with us. I want you to share a little bit with us your new show that you just did. It just really kind of pinpoints a lot of your expertise and some of your friends that you actually have connected with and that you started the show with. And also just a few questions about neuroscience. And as a neuroscientist, just kind of share some of your knowledge on, your perspectives on some of these topics. So we truly, again, appreciate for you being here. So we're going to take a brief break. We have to give homage to our sponsors, those who pay the bills, and we'll definitely be right back on the couch. Hold tight.
The word lit has taken on a whole new meaning.
Warning.
This is not a drill.
Feel the energy. At Lit Chat, we don't just like your post, we ignite your post. From the serious businessman, merchant, seller, socialite to the prolific entertainer, it's time now to show the world just how lit you are. www.litchat.com, your source for lit status, lit content, and conversation. Lit Chat, now your words have fire. Now on Droid and Apple.
Dublin, Georgia, let's get ready for a night of elegance.
You have a way with me like no one else. Yeah, you almost make me fall in love. If you keep this up, then I'll let you in. Oh, wanna get you closer to my body. Wanna feel your hands all over me. Gotta make them jealous, everybody. 'Cause you know we got it, chemistry. Then I'll stay the night. 'Cause you have a way with me like no one else. Yeah, you.
Life is filled with many unexpectancies. If something happened to you today, heart attack, cancer, stroke, or diagnosed with anything terminal, are you prepared for what's next? Only 1 out of 4 to 5 Americans have considered that life is unexpected, uncertain, and has some uncontrollable risk. Are you that 4 to 5 that hasn't taken action yet? Call right now for your free quote. Tomorrow's not promised. The protection of your legacy depends on what choice you make in this moment. Call right now. At the dawn of your time, no one could calculate the storms of life. One thing's for sure, you were built for it. You have one life. Drive hard and live free.
Now we're back. Dr. Hayley, again, thank you so much for being available today. And we're definitely enjoying your company. And just thank you for everything that you're doing.
You're very welcome. Thanks again for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the show, a little bit the name and, your episodes. I think you have 13 episodes that you guys have recorded. And I got a chance to look at the pilot show a few days ago. So it was really cool. And I really enjoyed it. It was nice. So talk to us a little bit about the show.
Sure. This was something that, again, people that I met on the Clubhouse app, I stumbled into this room all about mental wellness. And so every Wednesday on Clubhouse, we do this mental wellness group, and they get experts from a variety of fields and backgrounds. And so I just started meeting some of these people, and we kind of just formed this idea that we wanted to put faces to the voices. So for those of you who don't know, Clubhouse is an audio app. And basically what we created is the MBVS show, which stands for Mind, Body, Voice, and Soul. And it's a weekly talk show. So we filmed it without having any idea of what we were going to do with it. And it kind of sat around for a little bit. And I said, what are we doing? We need to put this out. This could really help people. So, we put the episodes together. We organized them by weeks. And so we're releasing them every Wednesday morning on YouTube. And they're there, obviously you can watch the replay if you don't get it live. But yeah, so every week we get guest people will come in and ask questions about anything that they might have some challenges with. So depression, anxiety. This current week, we talked about suicide, emotion regulation, really a huge variety of topics. We talk about marital issues, parenting, everything like that. And so I'm on the panel, and then there's a TEDx speaker and Emmy award-winning voiceover actress, Tasia Valenza, Barb Heller, who's also a voiceover actress, but she's an amazing spirit and soul, and really talks about spirituality and kind of come from that perspective. And then the famous Dr. Norman Freed, you might see him on NBC and Fox and BBC and the Dr. Phil show. So he comes in from a psychotherapist perspective. And then of course, our super energetic and awesome host, Mark Hayford, who is a motivational speaker and best-selling author. So all five of us come together and we answer questions that were brought to us each week. And first of all, it was so much fun to put together. And then I just know that if more people watch it and then share it, it can really impact more lives.
I really can concur with that and believe the same notion, because it was full of energy. It was great. I actually have a clip.
Oh no!
I have a clip.
I was not prepared for this.
Yeah, no.
I hope it was a good one.
It was great. I promise you, it was good. It was good. It was really good. So we're going to share a little bit of about 3 minutes, just kind of give a little indication of what the show is about. And also kind of introduce some of the people. And if the clip didn't catch everybody, you can just kind of introduce us after the clip is over, who was who.
Okay.
And let's see if we can get this going. You ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you.
Good. Here we go.
Questions. It's our pilot episode. You guys want to get into this real quick? Let's do that. I'm going to drop this round table here. I recently lost my job and am experiencing moments of dizziness and shortness of breath. Doctors did tests and tell me that my brain is fine. What is wrong with me? Woo! All right. So we got a whole bunch that's a mixed bag here. Who would like to jump in first with that? Fine. Dr. Norman, why don't we go with you? You got a lot of books.
Thank you. I was waiting for Haley because it's.
I know, and I was waiting for you. I'm like, you're the clinician. You can do the diagnosis, and I can talk about the brain.
What I want to say is that when people come to me and talk about feelings of dizziness or vertigo, or that kind of pre-fluish feeling that the room moved and they didn't, it very well might not be medical at all. And if you have gone to a doctor and had received medical clearance, it's likely that something's going on a more emotional level. And what I consider anxiety episodes, they're kind of like petit mal panic attacks. They're not full-blown attacks, but they're small moments when you're on the edge or the cusp of a type of anxiety that is disorienting. You might find that you're being dizzy. This person who's asking the question would be wise to spend time talking about his fears and get to understand that the dizziness is not his enemy. It's actually his friend, in a strange way, saying something's not right here.
It sounds, especially as Dr. Norman was talking about the symptomatology of anxiety, everything in our life flows through a psychological filter. And we have the power to, how are we going to evaluate that stressor in our life? We can't control the stressors, but we can eventually learn how to control our reaction and our thoughts in response to them. And a lot of times what can happen is this loss of the job. That is, talk about a stressor, right? Everybody would feel a certain way about that. And what can end up happening is if your brain is going to perceive that as a threat, then it's going to activate a part of our nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight response, fight, flight, or freeze, right? And it's going to cause us to increase our heart rate and our breathing rate. And then it's all those moments where I'm starting to feel it now. I'm putting myself into that, right? We can you drop your cell phone in the toilet and you're like, oh my gosh, right? And it's that instant moment. A lot of times, people might losing a job, any kind of immediate acute stressor like that, our bodies are set up so beautifully to naturally save us and protect us and put us into this state. However, we don't want to be triggered all the time, and we don't want to always be in that state. We want to be most of the time in the parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest, where we have our deep breathing. We can really get, just our digestion is going to be working more. We don't need all of that oxygen going to our blood all the time, or into our brain all the time, and we can really calm and think about things a little bit more, rationally.
So there was a clip of the show. Like, this is an amazing show, and the pilot was awesome. A lot of great information, and a lot of great perspectives from everybody. And so, so the doctor in the brown coat. Now, who was that?
That was Dr. Norman Fried.
Okay.
It was funny. The first time I met him, it was on Clubhouse. I recognized his voice and I'm like, where have I heard this voice before?
Wow.
And I'm a big reality TV junkie. And he was actually Bethany Frankel's therapist on The Real Housewives of New York City.
Wow.
And I was just like, where? Oh, and then I looked at his, I'm like, oh, I know him because he was, on Bravo.
Wow.
And then so I started researching who he actually was, and he's written several best-selling books, and he is frequently brought in on news. He's a news reporter, brought in as a guest on several shows like Fox News and NBC and BBC. And like I said, Dr. Phil, he's everywhere. So CNN, I think he's been on as well. So he was an honor to be able to get to know. And now I can call him my friend. Like, we really are close. Awesome. We text each other and we call. And anytime I have any kind of question that is beyond my scope of expertise, I always reach out to him. Because we both have our PhD in psychology, but mine is more from the neuroscience perspective, and his is more of a clinical, psychodynamic and psychoanalysis type of perspective. So, it's really great to be able to work with him.
That's awesome. And then the other two young ladies, those are the voiceover actors, correct?
Yes. And the one on the bottom with the white shirt and her hair pulled back, that's Barb Heller. Really great with mindfulness and meditation. And she leads a lot of creativity and mindfulness and being able to combine those two, and talks a lot about spirituality and her faith. And then Tasia Valenza, she's the TEDx speaker and Emmy Award-winning voiceover actress. And she's just has such a motherly vibe and just calm, cool. She lives in LA. She's awesome. Just an amazing person. And her platform is to give great voice and to really allow people to be able to use their voice to help better society and better the world. And of course, that eye candy in the middle, that's Mark Hayford. He's the heart of the show. He really gives us that energy and was the creative genius behind all of this. And he has a podcast and authored several books and is a fantastic motivational speaker, loves going into high schools and working with youth to help them have a better, mental wellness in general.
Wow. I can appreciate just being connected to you, to be connected to them. That's awesome. I think that's really, really an amazing thing. And I'm looking forward to more of the shows that you guys are doing. And trust me that after the clip, after the episode that I watched, I became a subscriber. So you're definitely welcome. And so before we go, I definitely had a couple questions concerning neuroscience and understanding, your expertise and the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So I did have a couple questions that we just kind of conjured up here that I was interested in knowing the answer to. So number one, how does neuroscience affect behaviors?
Again, how much time do you have? I could spend an entire semester going through this. So neuroscience, let's just break the word down. So it's the study, right? Science, it's the study of neurons and our nervous system. And neurons are specialized cells that make up our nervous system.
Right.
And so when I say specialized, that's because they're able to communicate with each other. And they do this by generating electricity. So they actually create this electrical signal that then gets converted into a chemical signal. And we release neurotransmitters. And this is transmitting information from one neuron to another.
Gotcha.
And this chemical communication, now as we create more, they're called neural pathways through our experience, through learning, they get strengthened. And that's how we can create habits. That's how we can form memories. This is how we can perceive things in the world, everything. So as I mentioned before, our nervous system controls everything from our gag reflexes to the onset of puberty to, you know, our growth, our everything, both spiritual growth and emotional growth, as well as physical growth. It really does control everything by communicating with other systems throughout our body. So it can also control our hormone release. And, you know, so when you ask, how can it control behavior? Well, there's so many different ways. What kinds of behaviors? Are you talking about habits? Are you talking about memory and learning? Are you talking about sexual motivation? Are you talking about eating and drinking? What are we talking about here? And the brain, again, it blows my mind. So there's anywhere from 80 to 100 billion neurons in our brain. And each one of those has 10,000 connections with other cells.
Wow.
So I'm no mathematician, but this, I mean, 10 billion or 100 billion times 10,000, right? I mean, that, or not even times, that's to the, I don't, again, I'm not a mathematician.
It's okay. It's a lot.
Basically, it's an infinite number of possible connections that we can have. And that's how we are all so unique as humans, or just as species, anything, right? Anybody that has a nervous system, or any animal, any creature that has a nervous system, has this flexibility to be able to create these new unique connections through experience. And that's how genetically identical people with the exact same genome and exact same blueprint, they can behave so differently from the same stimulus. Right? One, you know, a bee lands on one person and they're scared and run away, like I would do, right? Another person will look at that bee and say, oh, let me follow it and follow its flight pattern, or let me take a wing and look at it under a microscope, or this makes me hungry for honey. I don't know, right? So everybody's going to have their own experience that they bring to every single situation that's going to, in turn, influence their behavior, but also their thoughts. And that's really what I'm so passionate about talking about that, because a lot of people think that it's just black and white. It's, well, what does your gene, you know, your genome say? What's your DNA say? And that's a part of it, right? But we all have our own unique experiences that can influence how we behave and how we think.
This is fascinating. So as you were talking, and we'll be wrapping up soon, but as you were talking, I kind of parallel what you were saying with your course. So in teaching us how the brain works, you know, neurons and all, and the functionality of the mind, that helps your certifications and the people that go through your course to understand how to better treat or have better converse with their clients. They're individuals. They understand their thinking process. They understand how to properly deal with this man versus dealing with this woman. Not having to, you know, like a lot of people color code. When I say color code, they go, you know, they'll look at culture. They'll look at sect. They'll look at whether he's a man or woman, but it's deeper than that. So it's based on how the process of the neurons and the electricity in the brain and their thought processes work. So I definitely see the importance for the course, but also even the more importance of actually going through the study. So this is This is phenomenal. So like, I can tell the passion and the expertise and the knowledge that you have concerning this, because it's very definitely very, very important. I need more neuroscientists on the couch.
Yes.
I
Not
need
all of
more.
them are fun to talk to, though.
Right. I mean, there's no one like Dr. Hayley. I truly appreciate that. I did want to know, they want to know one more thing though. Why is now, and I'm kind of already know, probably just kind of just concluded my own thought, but why is neuroscience so important? Like, why is it important to study the brain? I understand everybody know we have one. Every living soul has one. But why is it so important to study this organ though?
Well, so it's interesting. I mean, if you look at medical school, when
Mhm.
people are trained to be podiatrists, they study feet. If
Right.
somebody is, gastrointestinal, a GI doctor, they're studying the liver and the stomach and the intestines, right?
Absolutely.
But when you
Absolutely.
study psychiatry, they don't actually go in and really study the organ itself, right?
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
so I think that there's actually a gap. And because of that, there's a lot of people who will make inferences and say, you know, try to sell snake oil and try to do all of these things without the root understanding of what the brain is actually doing, right? And then you can study the mind, you can study our perception and how we feel and our emotions, but actually looking at at a cellular level to really understand what's going on here. And how does meditation work cellularly, right? How does learning affect the cells and all of this, and then create these new neural pathways to allow these habits to continue? So I think that because of that, there's almost two camps when it comes to studying the brain and the mind. That there's people who think it's all spirituality and, quote unquote, woo woo, right? And then there's people who want to just look in petri dishes and study it just from the cellular level. But then there's this need for people like myself who can be that bridge and actually put the science behind the woo woo, right? And to be able to combine those two worlds and be that bridge and be that translator between a lot of these conversations to really truly understand what's going on in the brain and the nervous system to give you these different types of outcomes that you're hoping to achieve. And so I think that that's why there's an importance to study neuroscience. It's such an interdisciplinary field. We study chemistry, we study physics, we study biology, we study chemistry. All of these different fields all come together to be able to allow us to talk in a holistic way about the organ and about the organism in general, the human being and our life experiences. And there's so many unknowns with an infinite number of possibilities, right? 80 to 100 billion neurons with 10,000 connections each. We can't possibly know everything. And that excites me. Right? When a student asks me a question and I don't know the answer to it, it could be that I just don't know. I mean, ask my husband and I know everything, right? but it's also that maybe nobody knows. Maybe nobody knows the answer to that. And then so I love to be able to give people the tools and the skills to be able to, okay, well, how can we figure out the best explanation for that question? How can we research and look at empirical data that's peer reviewed? So it's not some of this, fringe work that, one person says something and then it's taken as fact and truth. How can we actually understand the science? Because I think a lot of times people are scared of the science because we use big, scary words and terminology.
Right.
And so if I can teach people how to approach science and not be afraid of it, to be able to do this research on their own. And that is part of the certification program as well. I do teach people how to find what databases to use that are, will filter out some of the stuff that might not be that accurate and be able to actually read those articles. What parts can you kind of skip? You don't really need to know all the statistical jargon and things like that. And where's the big take-home message? How can I read these articles and extract the relevant information and think critically about it? And I think that's a huge part of neuroscience, is that we create and hopefully are teaching people how to be critical thinkers, to try to come up with questions and solve them either through experimental design and actually do experiments and test it, or
Mhm.
through understanding and researching other people's work and being able to think critically about it and then be able to disseminate that information to other people.
Wow. My mind is just blown. All my neurons are just working right
Pun
now.
intended, right?
Absolutely. And we can definitely talk more. And we're going to have you back. As you talk, I see your message. I see where you fit. I see what your focus is. And that's to bridge the gap between the science and the actual brain work. Like why the works. I could see you answering questions and talking to people, thousands of people. And that's going to come. And I believe in that. I believe in what you're doing. And so just know I could see the gap, but I see where you create the bridge. And that's definitely important when you have a message and you have a goal that you're seeking. But if the person receiving the information can't see where you're going, then there's an issue. But I see exactly what your message is about. I definitely like what I'm hearing. And so again, hats off to you, Dr. Hayley, and thank you again for number one, showing up here on the couch, talking with us, sharing your expertise with us today. And also at the end of the day, thank you for making the choice of your calling, dealing with the unknowns, but helping people find those unknowns through brain health. I think that is fascinating. I think it's just truly fascinating. And so before we wrap up here, is there anything that you would like to share with the audience? I know we got how we can find you. Facebook, we can follow you and find you there at Be Well with Dr. Hayley. That's on Facebook. We do have you on Instagram at Be Well with Dr. Hayley. Also, we have you on LinkedIn at Be Well with Dr. Hayley. And also we have you on Clubhouse. Those of you that utilizes Clubhouse. Trying to get on Clubhouse a little bit more. The funny story is I purchased one of my clients that I was working with purchased an iPhone for me just for that particular reason. And I've been a Droid user for over 20 years. And the day I got the iPhone was the day they actually put Clubhouse on Droid.
I was going to say, you don't need an iPhone anymore. It used to
Yeah.
just be for iPhone users. Yeah, now they've opened it up to everybody.
Yeah, everybody has it now. So, but it's a great opportunity to connect with people that you would have never thought you would connect with.
Absolutely.
So it is an awesome deal. So before we wrap up here real quick, Dr. Hayley, is there anything that you would like to share with us?
Sure. I mean, I'm a real person, so feel free to contact me. I know scrolling at the bottom of the page is the site for my certification program, which obviously I would love to have you as students. But for people who want to just learn more about me or about the brain in general, I do have some currently free resources. They're not going to be free for long. I was told that I need to start charging for these things. But I do have a free course on stress in the brain, which anybody can benefit from. And a resource, a glossary of terms for commonly abused drugs. So if you or somebody that you know is dealing with addiction, this could be a helpful resource for you to understand more about some of those commonly abused drugs. And you can get those on my general website, which is academyofneuro.com. And it's also linked on the certification page as well. But I also offer free consultations and discovery calls with people who just want to learn more about the certification program or working with me, what it would be like. I also give live lectures and workshops and seminars. I do consulting services as well. So just reach out and connect with me. I love meeting new people and seeing how I can best serve people. So thank you again so much for having me here. And yeah.
I am so happy that you came, and it's just such a pleasure, and I look forward to definitely working with you and talking with you more based on what you have to offer to the world. So it's definitely been a pleasure. So everybody, you know my language: love, life, and live love. You only have one. So hang out with me real quick, Dr. Hayley, after my outro music, and then we'll further along our conversation. But listen, everybody, you guys be great. Have a great great week. And it's been the Kouch, K's Kouch. We'll talk to you soon.